This episode of the I Am Salt Lake podcast is brought to you by Sorry Clementine Clothing, located at 366 South 500 East, number 104, in beautiful downtown Salt Lake City.
Hey, what's up, Salt Lake City? Welcome to episode 21 of the I Am Salt Lake podcast. You can find us online at iamsaltlake.com, or you can download each and every episode of the podcast so you can listen to them whenever your little hearts desire. I am Chris Hollifield. I'm going to be your host. I'm going to be your leader, your guide, leading you from episode to episode, showcasing locals, professionals, musicians, anybody and everybody who's making Salt Lake City just a little more awesome to live in. And so welcome to my podcast. This has been a really fun project. Thank you for everybody for the support, for the feedback, for the emails, for anything that you've done. This has been really, really awesome. So thank you very much, Salt Lake City. This is a really rad episode that I have for you tonight. I had the opportunity to sit down with Saturdays Waffle, Richard, Mike, and Colin. We all sat down at the Sorry Clementine shop and discussed all about their 1955 Shasta trailer and their delicious waffles that they make every Saturday morning. And we discussed them, and it blew me away, their story. Seriously. I mean, there's food trucks in Salt Lake City. If you're not familiar with them, I mean, I seriously suggest you check them out. There are some really awesome food trucks. But these guys are taking a different angle. Like I said, they're using a trailer, a 1955 Shasta trailer. I'm going to put some photos of their trailer on iamsaltlake.com/episode 21, the Saturdays Waffle episode. You have to check this thing out. And if you have not checked them out, I suggest you follow them on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. I'm going to put all those links on the website as well. And you make sure to, the next time they are located somewhere near you, go check them out, get some breakfast, get lunch, whatever they're serving. Because seriously, first time I ever checked them out was at July 4th in Sugar House, and it blew me away, and I knew I had to get them on the podcast. They are really doing some killer stuff here in Salt Lake City. So having the opportunity to sit down with them and find out more about their business, how they started, and these three guys is really a treat for me to bring onto the podcast. So thank you very much for coming on, Richard, Mike, and Colin. Thank you very much to the listener for downloading this and letting me share their story with you. So thank you very much. I'm going to jump right into the conversation that I had with them. Saturdays Waffle, SatudaysWaffle.com. I'm going to put all those links at iamsaltlake.com. I'm not going to tell you about them anymore because chances are you don't even have a pen and paper anyway. So thank you very much for checking out the I Am Salt Lake podcast. I am Chris Hollifield, and this is the conversation that I had with Saturdays Waffle. I'll get started. And we're talking with Richard, Mike, and Colin from Saturdays Waffle. What inspired you? What motivated you? How did it start, the idea for Saturdays Waffle?
Do you want to start that, Mike? You're the one that came to my house one night with an idea. So,
I think that, we all, I guess a preface to this, we all have other jobs that we do.
Okay.
So Saturdays Waffle has been a fun side project for us for about a year and a half now, and when it initialized, it was something that I was like, what is something we can do to kind of express that creativity that you always want to do that sometimes you don't get in your 9-to-5 job. And I knew Richard had always wanted to open a restaurant, had always thought that that would be something fun to do, and I've always wanted to do that, and so I approached him first, saying that what if the idea was to do something that I'd heard of in another city called a flash restaurant, and just on Saturdays just kind of have structure. I had no idea what it would be or the space itself, but we would just kind of show up in different places and then kind of create a restaurant on the spot. Logistically, that just didn't. I mean, it would be, as far as permitting it is concerned as well. That just wouldn't work. So we kind of narrowed it down to, a food truck would be probably the next closest thing to that. Just kind of going somewhere and opening up for business. And looking at food trucks, it's themselves can be prohibitive, especially if it's something cost prohibitive, especially if it's just a kind of a unique side project. So we thought, what about a trailer? And that's when we went looking for an old kind of vintagey looking trailer, and we found one on KSL for a mere $700 and down in Richfield, and we called him up. We had to leave the next morning at like 4:00 in the morning to get it because he had like 6 offers for it. But we went down there, grabbed it, pulled it up, started working on it. We brought Colin on because he's younger than us and very
that's why I was brought on.
No keen on the social media side of things. Not that we're complete idiots,
No.
But I mean, also we just feel like if we were going to do this, that two of us all the time, we felt that the workload would be a lot better handled by 3 people than 2. And so, and we were all good friends, so he was a natural fit.
So that's what I was going to ask, is how did all 3 of you meet, or you've known each other for quite a while, it sounds like then?
Yeah, for a while. Uh-huh.
And do you guys have any food backgrounds otherwise, or not really?
Each of us have a little bit of food background in our own regard. I'll start with that. I had about 9 years of catering experience, and I actually build kitchens in restaurants and schools and stuff now. So I'm still in the food service sector, just not preparing food, but I kind of bring an equipment background with me into this as well. So
I was a waiter all through college, and I really like food. That's what I.
And that's all that matters,
yeah,
really, right?
Seriously.
I mean, really, as long as you like food. I mean.
And I worked at the Olive Garden.
There you
So
go.
there's that's my.
Please
food
don't hold that
credential.
against us.
So do you guys have breadsticks? No, I'm just kidding, right?
Yeah, I was pushing for it. But
he keeps trying to do a fettuccine Alfredo waffle.
That would be
I think
actually
it's fantastic.
Yeah,
Steak
yeah.
gorgonzola sounds
So. Speaking of waffles, okay, let's describe your menu. I mean, what's on your menu?
The menu, well, I remember, because when Mike pitched it to me, I remember him coming to me and telling me about a place he ate at in Hawaii. And he said, we were in Hawaii, and there was this little shack kind of on the side of the road where this lady every Saturday morning would just get up and make waffles for people. And they would come and buy waffles, and it was waffles. That was her little thing. And he loved the idea of serving something really simple that's easier to make, like a waffle, but a different twist on it. And so that's kind of what he originally pitched to me, and I told him that was a terrible idea because I don't like waffles. I don't like waffles at all. But I'm envisioning your regular old batter waffle, and Mike said, you just have to trust me. And the one thing is about Mike is that he is a born chef in a collection agent's body. He owns a collections agency, but he is through and through, should have been a chef, and he is incredibly gifted when it comes to cooking. So I remember came over to his house the first time when he was a little while after we talked about the waffle idea, and that was kind of the theme of the trailer. And I ate the Liège waffle for the first time, and he can tell you the story. He had tried it in Japan a long time ago and kind of became infatuated with it. But when I tried that, all of a sudden, I got it. I mean, it just made sense. It was so different than any waffle I had ever tried before, and it definitely changed my perception of it's waffles elevated, And that's what convinced me, was the product was so good that I knew that combined with the platform of the 55 Shasta and the appeal and the nostalgia of all of it, it was a natural fit. So that's when I got really excited about it and knew this was going to go somewhere.
It's funny he says he doesn't like waffles. By far, Colin eats the most waffles out of any of the 3 of us
I didn't.
now.
It's past tense. I've overcome that obstacle.
Yeah, he eats the most waffles. But to go into the menu more, like Colin mentioned, he mentioned the Liège waffle, and for the listeners out there that haven't tried a Liège waffle, it's dough-based rather than batter-based, and the kind of finishing of that is folding in pearl sugar, which is basically just a chunk of sugar, and you'll just get these bites of sweetness. And the waffle is the same on any dish we do. Whether it's a sweet waffle or a savory waffle. We offer some waffles with eggs and hollandaise sauce and bacon on them, and you still get those bites of sweetness in there, and it's just a great mix of sweet and savory. So some of the options are the Benny, Bananas Foster, lemon curd and raspberry, the Mount Olympus, which features Greek yogurt, a selection of fruit, honey, and candied pecans. We do a huevos rancheros. We do
The caprese.
the caprese, which
Caprese is
was
really
one that we were all a little skeptical on, but who knew a fresh slice of tomato, some fresh buffalo mozzarella, and basil with a balsamic reduction over the top would taste as good as it does.
That was the second time I doubted Mike and his culinary ideas, and then I tried it, and I was convinced.
Yeah.
So I've stopped doubting him completely. And we'll also do seasonal specials too, and so we have a rotating menu. So usually every week we'll have 3 specials. I mean, it's a small trailer, and when there's 2 to 3 people in there, there's only so much room for everything. So sometimes, like our special the last couple of weeks in sort of a fall theme has been a pumpkin praline, which is like a pumpkin custard with a coconut whipped cream over the top and candy pecans with a little bit of a salted caramel drizzle. It's fantastic. So,
And I wish I could be sampling these right now while you're
It is.
telling me, because
Come see me
they,
Saturday.
They-
We'll get
they
these
all
for you.
sound so delicious.
and then we also have an Canadian apple pie, because we want to do the apple pie. You know, we love the idea of it's kind of an American.
And that's on top of a
classic.
waffle.
On top of a waffle,
Okay.
you know, basically a pumpkin pie. I mean, apple pie filling. But we want to do a little bit of different twist on it. I lived in Canada for a while, and during that time there, every time I had apple pie, it was served with sharp cheddar. So we decided to do a Canadian apple pie and a little twist on it, something people may not have tried, and we do a really, really good sharp cheddar with it as well. So just some different things.
And do you take, like, I mean, if I had an idea and it had your ingredients, obviously you'll take requests if somebody has
absolutely.
it. You know?
Yeah, we do.
In fact,
You can build your own.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago at the trailer, actually, we had a customer come up and introduce a new idea to us that we're trying to develop right now. It was actually just sausage and gravy on a waffle. So
Well, that sounds
we're
good.
working on that as we speak. But yeah,
And do you have coffee, hot chocolate, stuff, like, especially going into
Absolutely,
the, excellent. And now with the name Saturdays Waffle, and you mentioned in the beginning how this isn't your full-time job, is that kind of just, do you just go out on Saturdays, or?
Yeah, I mean,
Ish.
so
yeah.
I mean, again, for a little side project, we can't believe the response. It's been remarkable. It's been positive. It's been wonderful. So, if any of you that are listening to this are part of that goodness, thank you very much for it. We're now right now operating in 2 places on Saturdays. We have a bike race series that we're doing in a tent, as well as just in our trailer at our normal spot.
Where's your normal spot? I mean,
It is at Olympus Hills Shopping Plaza, which is right off Wasatch Boulevard on 3900 South.
Okay. And what are the hours there? Just, I mean, we'll go over that too at
Yeah.
the end, but while
8 to
we're
12,
on it,
8 to 12. But right now we're just kind of exploring that and seeing where we're going. It might not be just Saturdays Waffle anymore, but we kind of think that the marketing that will go with that is just that the best waffle of the week is the one you're going to eat on Saturday. So
it's a great name.
Yeah, so Saturdays Waffle any day of the week is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So.
and we'll be out there, rain or shine, too.
Yeah.
This past Saturday, I couldn't even see across Wasatch Boulevard. We have heaters we put out.
And that's what I was going to ask, is because a lot of food trucks, well, a handful I know here in Salt Lake have kind of closed up for the season. And I mean, you're going to obviously try to continue at least through the winter, right?
Yeah, since we're just once a week right now, and it's just kind of an event. I mean, I think that it just lends itself to anyone can brave 4 hours in a truck, and if we can keep the orders to where it's almost instantaneous when you're getting it, and if it's not extraordinarily awful as far as like snow is falling. But I mean, this last Saturday the snow was falling heavily, and we still had our crew out there that came, some of the regulars, some people trying it for the first time as well. So.
And you might have mentioned in the beginning, or maybe in our pre-talk, but you said you've been around for a year, or you started a year, or how long has Saturdays Waffle been around? What?
Actually, it's kind of funny. I remembered it was a year ago this past January, so we're actually coming up on 2 years here this coming January. And we haven't been serving food all that time.
Yeah.
It started with the idea. The evolution of the idea took about 3 to 4 months. We ended up getting the trailer about 4 months after the original idea. We spent several Saturdays stripping the trailer of all the nasty, ugly paint that was on there. When we got it, it was actually green and white, and if you get on our Facebook page, you can see kind of its humble beginnings. We have the Jasco burns to prove it.
Oh, I think it's great. I think it's
sick.
fantastic. So, I mean, you guys actually remodeled the trailer. You didn't hire somebody to do it. You guys actually did the grunt work and
that's-
did the trailer.
That's what Richard brought no, he brings a lot to the table. Don't get me wrong, but that's one thing. He right now, the company he works for, they do professional kitchen installations. Like Zupa's kitchens, that kind of thing, restaurant style kitchens. So with his connections and his catering experience, he just knew what needed to be done, and so it was really cool. Mike is the artistic. He has these elevated ideas, his ideas of what he wanted to accomplish, and Richard was the one that could get it all done. And so that's why it was an awesome team to work with. Is that we were able to come in, strip the trailer down to absolutely nothing, literally just boards, and turn it into a full restaurant style, stainless steel interior kitchen with all restaurant grade appliances. So it was really kind of a cool transformation to see happen.
Do you see this ever, do you want to eventually maybe get an actual food truck that you can drive around in, or a brick and mortar store, or right now keep it this way? Or is that hard to say?
There's a lot. We're definitely thinking about what we want for the future of us and everything like that, and it's exciting to think in those terms. I think as far as a food truck versus what we're doing, I think we do have a niche. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's what I mean. It separates you from the actual food truck.
I mean, and we can be, and we've been invited to do weddings. We've been invited to do corporate events. We can wheel that thing into places that a food truck can't go in. I mean, we've been in the energy solutions arena. Do you know what I'm and serving out to about 200 people there. I mean, so we really like what we are. We really like what it is. And I don't know if you've been around to too many different metropolitan areas where food trucks are a major staple of the food culture. But someplace like Portland, Oregon, they have so many mobile food stations, and I would say that a good majority of them are trailers,
really?
as opposed to the trucks, and they're very creative in how they actually implement them and where they implement them. And we kind of wanted to follow that food truck model that, let's say, someone like the Chow Truck or others have done here. But then we found that the way we've worked best is it's almost a little bit backwards. We've found a place, we've stayed there. People love, the like what Colin was saying, the nostalgia of getting their food out of a trailer and stuff like that. But we've also established ourselves in one place, so people that aren't necessarily your food truck, Facebook, Twitter following crowd have really kind of latched on and loved us for that. And so they know where we are. They just come, and I like it. I like the fact that it's a range of people that come to our little food trucks. It's not just the foodies. It's, I mean, we have.
We're grateful for that.
We are awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
No, we absolutely love them. I mean, that's the reason we're foodies too. That's why we did this.
Yeah.
But we have baseball teams from local high schools up to 80-year-old couples who come every single week to get their waffle because they know where we're going to be.
They know where you're going to be at. Because I know one thing I find frustrating with some of the local food trucks is, you have to get on Twitter or something. Okay, where are they at? Mm-hmm. Then by the time you get there, they might have left already. Yeah. And it's like, good grief, But I know that's just kind of part of the thing. They can pick up and go somewhere else. And that's why I was wondering, even with you guys, if you felt, if we were a little more, mobile, if it was slow maybe to get around, but it sounds like you kind of like your permanent spot. Or
our idea of being mobile is kind of expanding. When the cyclocross series came up, we were going to take the trailer to that, but we decided kind of last minute to hurry and scramble and get a second operation going.
Yeah.
And it allows us to do that, which will also further our operation into next spring and summer as well. And, we've done local community movie nights, and we'd love to explore more farmers markets and things like that. So our idea of getting out there is never leaving our home base. I mean, those followers have really made us who we are.
Absolutely.
And we'd love to get more things on the road just to take this to other communities as well. So
let's talk for a second about some of the events you've done besides where you're at now. And you mentioned like weddings. I mean, people. So like say I got a birthday coming up. If I wanted to hire you for my birthday, I mean, you would.
I just did a birthday.
You just did a birthday. So
I did a 14-year-old kid's birthday.
See, and I mean that's. I mean, so somebody listening in, if they want to, hey, boom, I got a wedding coming up. It's a little.
And
unique.
the wedding was awesome. I don't know if you know where Luland Falls is. It's right up the Parley's Canyon, right off the I-80.
Okay.
You have to actually go one exit past it if you're going east, and then get off and head back west, and then you can actually get off on westbound I-80. And then it's just kind of snuggled up into this little canyon, and there's a beautiful waterfall up there, but they've kind of built this reception center, and we had to back up. We barely squeezed in through their barn door. We kind of had to onto their kind of terrace area, and we were definitely part of the whole thing. We kind of had those those kind of homemade pendants with that said "just married," and we hung that on the trailer. And,
Excellent.
And we're
the bride requested that we all wear like Wayfarer Ray-Ban sunglasses, kind of a retro.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking maybe something else, but
no. It was definitely the most hipster reception you'd ever seen. And we fit perfectly into it. It was a lot of fun, and everyone loved it. And again, it's just, I mean, the trailer itself has a cool feel to it.
Oh, it does. It does.
So,
I remember the first time I saw it. Like I said there, July 4th at the Sugar House. I was like, these guys, they got something here in Salt Lake, And thus even wanting to try to get you on the podcast, which I'm glad you guys finally, hey, let's sit down and talk. I'm grateful to, thank you, yeah.
One more piece about the wedding, real quick.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I think one of the coolest things we did was actually a wedding cake. The middle of it was waffles with a lemon curd buttercream and decorated fondant, and then as for all the guests to have a piece of cake, we made little miniature waffles that were chocolate dipped around it. So,
now was this your idea or the wedding?
They were going to
person's
have a
idea?
cake, and we asked if we could throw out an offering for something for them, and they loved the idea. And
How do you have a wedding without a cake? Right?
Yeah, good question. We threw it all in the package. I mean,
they were non-traditional, as you can tell.
But being non-traditional, what's more
Yeah.
non-traditional?
Well,
than
but see
waffle
again,
cake?
I'm my wife and myself. We're non-traditional.
Yeah, no.
We just got married at the courthouse, but I would have loved to have you guys at my wedding.
We can pull up to the court steps too. We'll
All right, you'll go up there,
serious.
right? Now, do you need like special permits and stuff as much as like with a truck, with a trailer?
Salt Lake City has been kind of slow in getting their their zoning and the kind of the statutes governing mobile food vendors to other cities' levels. But they're moving in the right direction, which is very good. Right now, there are zoned areas where food trucks can occupy the public way and for a space of about 2 hours. That's one of the reasons why it's kind of frustrating when you get down there and they're not there.
When who's not there?
Like when you were talking about
the food
checking
trucks.
your Twitter,
Yeah.
their Twitter feed, you going down there and they're not there. They can legally only stay in one place for 2 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So that's why downtown, is probably the epicenter right now of the food trucks, because that's where they're free to do most business. Now, if you are asked by a local business to be on their property, then you can do whatever you want, as far as like where you set up. But right now, only that, like I said, downtown and then the Sugar House area proper are the two areas where you can operate in the right of way, in the public way.
Do you guys ever go to do the Thursday food truck thing at Gallivan
We
at
have,
all?
and we like it. And when people have our stuff, they love it. The thing with a lunch event, when there's more traditional lunch fare there, like a burger truck or the chow truck, something like that, then we kind of are relegated to kind of a dessert.
Yeah.
But we love those events as well. We just are. Like with any business, you're just trying to find out where you fit in best, because you want to bring your product to whomever wants it, but you have to do it in a way that is profitable as well. So
absolutely. And have the other food trucks? They've probably been pretty supportive, obviously.
Oh yeah, the community is great. The people that do this do it because they love food and they love what they're doing. So you couldn't ask for a better group of people to interact with, really.
Yeah.
It's again, there's some places, some venues, some events that are going to be more suited to a certain type of truck than another.
They might be viewed as kind of the big brothers, big sisters in a way.
Yeah.
We like to think of ourselves as the really cool little brother. Like we love to fit in with them. We love being where they're at. And food trucks kind of have this natural phenomenon of feeding off each other. Like the July 4th event you were at.
Yeah.
It was really neat to see all the trucks there. And a lot of people that day I saw eat at several of the trucks. It was enough time for them to sample all of them. So
Well, they say that. They say like fast food restaurants or for fast foods, that are by each other for some reason, motels, and because that way if,
Big
dad
box
wants to go
stores.
over here, mom wants to go over here, and little brother wants to go over here, you're good to go,
We also did the outdoor retail market, outdoor retail fair. What do they call
Outdoor
it?
Retailers
The
Expo.
Expo.
The Expo,
Yeah.
the Expo. So we were invited to do that as well, and that was kind of cool too, because that was one of our beginning forays into like just being on the big scene, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Right up next to some of the other big trucks in the area, which was a lot of fun. And we did some experiments then with menus to try and cater things a little more towards the lunch crowd. And so we tried things like we had a chorizo sausage waffle that we put chorizo sausage and a bunch of things over the top, grilled onions and apples and different things. It was fantastic, to be honest with you. And then we also did like a chicken and waffles version of our waffle. And so we do have interest as well in as we look at expanding in the future, because like we said, the response has been kind of mind-blowing for us. It was a fun project, and now it's something that we're realizing can be a lot more than a weekend project. And because the demand is out there, we'd love to expand it to lunch menus, maybe other trailers and things like that. We don't know where it'll go 100%.
Well, yeah, and you never do.
No,
you never
but
do
it's
when
been
you
but it's
start
been
it.
really fun to try and to just do these experiments and try different things on the menu and try different locations and try different venues and see what works and what sticks. And we've learned a lot, from doing that.
Has it been a little overwhelming to a degree too, or not?
At
You should
times.
ask our
At
wives.
times, because that's one thing I do notice about Salt Lake City is it's a big enough city, but yet anytime you start something, I notice I have friends that start things or myself or whatever. It's like you get noticed very quickly, and it's like, oh wow, what's this new thing? Oh, what's this new thing over here? And everybody wants to be part of it, try it, especially with food. And it seems like you guys really hit the pretty quickly. At least I noticed you guys right away. But again, it probably the trailer and probably the different because there isn't any other trailer food things here, or is there that I know?
Not what
of?
we have seen.
But that's one of the things too, is that we also really deeply want to avoid becoming a fad, if you
Yeah.
will, and that's one of the reasons we try and be try new things with the menu and different things like that. And we really are looking for ways to expand to make
Yeah.
sure we can reach more people and let more people try our product, because we don't want it to be something that it's pretty cool but then loses steam. And we haven't. I mean, to be honest, it's just kept picking up, and we're just trying to keep up with the growth. But that's been one of our biggest things, is figuring out how to adapt ourselves in such a way that we can make sure and continue to be relevant and give people the product that they've come to know and love.
Absolutely. So what advice, say somebody who wanted to start a business, whether it's food or anything, what you've had to learn a lot, I'm sure, on your own. What are a few pieces of advice you would give somebody?
You need to have a lot of patience. And honestly, collaboration is a really good thing. You heard the strengths that each of us bring to the table, and I'll be honest with you. Trying to do this alone, I don't know that I would have been able to to get to where we're at right now by myself. I just couldn't. And so if you have people you trust and you can get along with, and you can, and there's good creative foment there, I use that. Don't think that you have to do this by yourself.
We've had a lot of, we've found ourselves being consultants more than once to people to customers who come up and said, oh, my cousin wants to start this, or I'm really interested in starting that. And they just kind of want to know. And I think the biggest advice, at least that I would have, would be just do it. Because people talk about things a lot. And we talked about this a lot before anything really happened with it. You look at our final product and what we're doing now, and it's if you thought about just doing that all in one day or 1 month, it would be impossible. But when you think about the fact that it took 2 years to build up the trailer and to turn it into what it is today, and to get out there and to find a product that really worked, we did a lot of testing with friends and family and brought people together and tried products and things like that. And it took some work to get to where we are. But the fact is, it started for us with a $700 trailer. And in the business world, that's not a huge investment. And so for us to be able to start there and grow and grow and grow, that's what I would say, is you just have to start somewhere, start small, and grow into what you want to become. You don't have to start with that storefront, down in the Main Street Plaza. You can start with a trailer.
And that's one thing I notice is people think they need to start so big.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I gotta do this, and then all of a sudden they're broke and they're gone bankrupt. And
Our ideas evolved a lot from the beginning, as we've explained. Sitting here, it's been fun to see it, and it's something we find ourselves almost reminiscing about weekly as we talk about these things. You mentioned the July 4th thing, and I mean, it really was our infancy then. And I mean, we almost looking back, it's like, did we even know what we were doing when we were at the July 4th Arts Festival?
Yeah.
You know, and it's been fun to evolve that way. But I think the big thing for us, it's been getting actual dates down, because that will get you open. You know, this didn't start pushing along until we had something on the schedule. And, I mean, that leading up to the schedule, we were finishing the trailer that week. We were, you know, we stayed up all night preparing food. You know, I mean, we got our first taste of what this would really be like really fast. But that first event went off awesome, and that was actually the event at Energy Solutions Arena. And it was a corporate event. And to complicate things, and I just left throwing this out because it's something I'll never get back. But I actually lost my eye that week just because working on the trailer, getting it ready, I stabbed myself in the eye with a pocket knife.
Wow.
So he's in the emergency room the night before.
And, you know, my wife stepped in. She picked up a lot of the slack, Mike's wife, and just everybody scrambled to make sure it happened. And
so you stabbed yourself in the eye
with a pocket knife.
And you said you lost your. I mean, can you?
Well, I had a traumatic cataract, and they've done surgery since, so I can see it's blurry and all that, but it's kind of funny.
Wow, you really did.
Guys, what have you given to the trailer? I've given my right eye. So
you took one for the team right there, right? I mean,
but going along,
the trailer has been sanitized. There's nothing.
yeah, that's great. But yeah, at least you can laugh about it.
Yeah,
right? I mean,
but going along with what Richard said, not that we couldn't have stopped then. I mean, that was a legitimate emergency, but because we had set deadlines and been willing to take that risk and set up events and things like that, we just kept rolling forward. I mean, we kind of had to keep going with what we were doing. And when we had that first event, it's just kind of fun to look around and be like, this is real. And all of a sudden realize that you're putting out a product that you're proud of, that people love, and that you've done something.
Yeah.
You know, there's that serious satisfaction.
The way I call it, what was once an idea is now a thing to a lot of people. And I know that is kind of like really vague, but but we are a thing to a lot of people. You know, something they go and do on a Saturday, and it's fun. It's fun to see.
Enjoy that excitement that comes with it, though. I mean, I remember the first week being open. Mike was standing over the waffle irons with a line of people, and he just did this little dance because he was so excited that, like, oh my gosh, people have actually showed up for us. Like, and he still does it to this day. Occasionally, if you catch Mike in the trailer in the back, you might catch his little dance when there's a line of people. So
yeah, that's great. So if you guys could serve a waffle to anybody, you know, present day or past, who would it be and why? And I expect 3 different answers.
I think I know Mike's here, actually.
Or maybe one. I don't know.
Mike actually put on Mumford & Sons Facebook page.
Yeah,
I did.
I'll let you tell the story.
I would serve Marcus Mumford. Yes, I just wanted them to come here so badly. I would, every time they would post new stuff about where they were going, I said, come to Salt Lake City. I'll fix you breakfast, and I'll fix you a breakfast of waffles every time. I doubt he even saw, you know, amongst the 4,000 people who left a comment. But yeah, that's that.
I'm pretty sure he said, if you come to Salt Lake City, I'll give you a waffle.
Yeah.
And then we were just waiting for the restraining order papers to come in. But Mike wouldn't be allowed to go to their concert
because
who's the waffle guy?
What does that mean?
Yeah. What kind of euphemism is that? But they finally came, and
did you give him a waffle?
No.
Oh no, that's great. That's great.
You know, I think for me, I as I've worked with lots of chefs through the building kitchen sides, one chef I know actually was able to make a hamburger for the president one time when President Bush was in town, and it's funny because he always references that event as how cool that was to make something for the president. So, I mean, not to go off what you threw up there, but I definitely think that'd be cool to make something for the president. You know, either current or past, or any of them would be really exciting. So,
no, that would be cool. Yeah, what about you?
Well, you know, there's always I'd serve it to someone like Steve Jobs or someone like that, you know, big name and stuff like that. But to be honest, the person who I was most satisfied to serve a waffle to is like my parents when they showed up. And I know it sounds ridiculous.
And it's because they're going to be buy you something.
Birthday coming up. But really, it's just sort of that. It's one of those things that's satisfying to see someone who you really respect and love, obviously, to come and to see you do something. Like it's really satisfying to see our wives come out and to just be proud that this is like something they've all been part of, and our kids to come out and be like telling people in the crowd that like my dad's the waffle guy, and do you know my dad? And you know, we all 3 of us have kids, and it's just kind of it's really fun just for family to be able to see something materialize, especially with shout out to our wives, all the stress that they've put up with that we've brought into our lives unnecessarily because like we said, this isn't our 9 to 5. or we have jobs outside of this, so this cuts into all other extracurricular time for us, and so that support means everything to us, and I think that's been my most satisfying waffles I've served.
And I've got to say, our 5 biggest fans definitely are Lila, Ezra, Lucy, Emmy, and Jack. And just those are our kids. And watching them run around the trailer, like Colin said, is exciting. And just seeing what they come up. And it's fun because each of us know what each of other kids like. And we can get their orders ready. I mean, it's just they're there every week. They're our biggest fans. And sometimes some of our toughest critics. So
that's true.
That's excellent.
That is definitely true.
Well, thank you very much, Saturdays Waffle.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
Say again where you're at on Saturdays.
It's the Olympus Hills Shopping Plaza, which is at 3900 South and Wasatch Boulevard, just east of the 215.
Okay, and I'll go ahead. I'll put that on the IamSaltLake.com website too as well with
3900 South.
with the episode notes of this. And any other events that you feel like are worth mentioning in the next little while that coming up, or is that kind of what you get?
Right now, every week we're at the Utah Cyclocross.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever heard of that. It's a
I
Belgian
haven't.
bike sport. It's sort of like steeplechase on bikes. They pick up their bikes and run with them, and they do it rain, snow, shine, whatever. And so we are going to be there every Saturday for their events as well. So if you
how long does that go till?
Till
the middle of December.
Middle of December, so a little while.
And so if you go to their website, utcx.com.
Not this week, but the 2 weeks after, we'll be at Wheeler Farm for that.
Okay.
So folks that are in the middle of the valley want to head on over to Wheeler Farm. They can see.
And it's probably better. I know you guys are on Facebook and Twitter as well.
Mm-hmm. We are.
I mean, obviously, stay up to date that way as well. Become a fan of you on Facebook,
Check
Twitter.
out the pictures on Instagram. That's actually been
you guys are on Instagram.
Bigger following.
I don't know if I follow you guys.
It's all
on
going to be
Instagram.
under Saturdays Waffle. So Twitter's at Saturdays Waffle. If you need to email us, it's SatudaysWaffle@gmail.com.
SatudaysWaffle.com.
SatudaysWaffle.com is ours, and we're actually in the middle of revamping our website, but it's still up there now. You can go check it out and get some information about us. You can see our Twitter feed on there and stuff. And if we do change locations, we try and make sure something's on Facebook. We try and make sure it's on Twitter and things like that. But like we said, it doesn't happen. I mean, we're going to be at our regular location every Saturday for the foreseeable future. But we're going to give people plenty of notice. And if there's other locations, they can find us. Check out Twitter and Facebook.
Excellent. Anything else anybody wants to add? Or I think we found out a lot about you guys, and I'm hungry for some waffles now. I wish you guys would have brought the trailer so I can
show up on Saturday.
Again, for those listening who have been to our trailer, thank you very much for your support. If you haven't been, please come up. You'll really enjoy the product. I promise you.
If there's any ideas of what to put on a waffle, throw it out there. We will come up with something that will surprise you.
We really love our customers, and we mean that, because we've, like we said, been so surprised with the support that we've received. And if they have something to say, we have a customer named Ed. He's a biker. He's a great guy. We love him to death. First week he comes and gives a suggestion. We implement it. Next week he shows up again and he said, "Hey, you guys changed it." And we said, "Yeah, we did." And then he says, "Well, you guys need tables out here." So the next week we get tables, and he's actually become kind of a personal consultant to us. And paid in waffles, I guess. But it's just kind of cool because customers, we really take their feedback seriously. So if you have something to suggest or anything like that, hit us up on Twitter, throw out an email to us, and we respond, and we'll get back with you, and we'll do anything we can if it makes sense.
And that's awesome. That's tough to find, especially in the food industry, is people that will listen. So, all right. Well, thank you very much, and I'm going to get a waffle on Saturday. So.
Sounds great.
It's on us.
Perfect.
All right, that's going to do it for another episode of the I Am Salt Lake podcast. Remember, you can find us online at IamSaltLake.com, where you can connect with us, send us an email feedback, voicemail feedback. You can leave a comment on episode, whatever episode you would like. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please drop us an email as well. IamSaltLake@gmail.com is going to connect directly with me. It's going to send to my email box, and I will respond to you. So you can connect with us on iTunes and Stitcher Radio, where you can listen to us, as well as listen to us directly online at IamSaltLake.com. As well as always, I want to thank Christian Coleman and the Blues End Band for providing the music for the podcast. He has been really awesome and supportive, so be sure to check out his projects, Christian Coleman and the Blues End Band, as well as the Hive Gallery there in the Layton Hills Mall. I do want to thank my wonderful and beautiful and talented wife, Suzanne, over at Sorry Clementine Clothing, for providing a space for me to record at and bring these awesome guests onto the podcast to share their story. So be sure to check her shop out at 366 South 500 East number 104 there in downtown Salt Lake City. Again, my name is Chris Hollifield. That's going to do it for the I Am Salt Lake podcast. Be sure to come back on Sunday where I'm going to profile another individual, another local business, another musician, somebody who's making Salt Lake City just a little more awesome. So until then, you guys keep doing what you do best. Talk to you later.